welcome to our show Dreams, Passion and Your Hong Kong Story. Every time on this show, we bring before you people from different walks of life who have pursued their passion and found great success in Hong Kong. Today we have with us someone who is regarded as an expert in the global art and luxury goods industry, someone who has worked for several notable brands in this industry. Let's meet Francis Billin, President, Christie's Asia Pacific. Hello Francis and welcome to our show.
Hello.
So Francis is currently the President of Asia Pacific at Christie's. Christie's is a world-famous auction house for exclusive art, jewelry, luxury goods and even furniture and real estate. Before working for Christie's, Francis has held several leading positions in companies like Swarovski and even Richemont and worked in Japan, Hong Kong and even Shanghai. Francis is from France and he has been working in Asia for over 15 years. Let's talk to Francis and find out about his journey in Hong Kong. You started your career as a management consultant with McKinsey and thereafter you chose the luxury industry. What made you choose that? Were you always interested in art and fashion as a kid, or did this change of interest come later?
Yeah. I think I started in management consulting as a way not to choose to start anywhere, because management consultant is both a very wide range of industries, but it's also a wide range of functions where you explore as a consultant and you help your clients. And then maturing after a few years at McKinsey, where I worked primarily in Europe and in Asia. I was posted in Indonesia for about a year in 2000. Then I started to realize two things. One is I do love, as you mentioned, I do love beautiful objects, whatever they are, whether they are from fashion, which is just the taste of today, or much more timeless, like art would be. And I also love to lead business and help teams be successful.
How do you advise the buyers and the sellers make the choice? Can you explain the whole thing to the audience?
So there's different things that we're here to. So we're here to serve collectors. So we serve collectors of every generation, collectors who collect across a very wide spectrum of objects. At Christie's, which is the leading auction house globally. So Christie's is the largest transactor in the art space in this industry. We advise around 80 categories, which reflect, from east to west, north and south, and maybe 4,000 or 5,000 years of art history reflect everything that mankind basically has come up with, and the best, and naturally the most expensive these days. So we help collectors along their collecting journey. We have very long-standing relationship with these collectors. We start, working with them and advising them very early on their journey. So it might be the first object that they will start to collect. They bought it at Christie's. Every sometime that relationship lasts, very long, and through generations of these families. So throughout the 250 years of history of Christie's, we have advised families and not just individuals.
So do you have any memorable experience from, any of these auctions that you have been participating in at Christie's?
There are many. There are many because we sell about 50,000, 60,000 objects per year. And we've had two really outstanding moments in my 3.5-year career at Christie's. The first one was we sold an extremely rare and it's a national, it's an international treasure, I must say. A painting which is called Wooden Rock from a Song Dynasty artist, actually literati called Su Shi. Was a polymath, so he was not just a painter, he was a poet and a very versatile man. And he has actually initiated during the Song Dynasty with that painting a whole range of aesthetics that has inspired the literati up to today. So we saw that painting, but we curated a sale around that painting with a selection of about 30 objects that have been inspired by that aesthetics of literati through the centuries up to today. So that was really a defining moment, not only because we saw that painting, but also because we put back the literati aesthetic into the context of what that painting has inspired.
I see. Okay.
And there's a second one, which was last November in Hong Kong, where we sold painting called the Five Nudes, which is the largest painting from one of the largest paintings from an artist called 𝐍𝐨. An artist who is a Chinese artist who immigrated to France and has spent most of his life actually painting in France. And he actually went to Paris because he wanted to paint nudes. So at the core of his painting are all the nudes, and because he wanted to make a living, he started to paint still life, flowers, animals. But fundamentally, his passion was in painting nude, which he could do freely in France, but not in China.
So can you share with our audience some tips for buying exclusive paintings or luxury goods, when they go to these auctions? What should they keep in mind?
I think the first thing before going into an auction is to, of course, we can all be impulsive. There is a need for each and every one collector to put a lot of homework into buying. And my advice to any collector is do your homework, and you will be a very fulfilled collector because your collection will reflect fundamentally what you want it to be, and that's your personal choice.
So Francis, you have worked in, the brand side of the industry before, like you worked with Swarovski and Richemont, and then now you're working for an intermediary company like Christie's, both in luxury industry. Tell us the difference that you have noticed, difference in experience that you have noticed while working in both these industries, and tell us about the different roles that you have played both the ways.
Right. So I think the biggest difference that we have between the traditional luxury industry and what we do in an auction house is in an auction house, every object we transact is unique.
Okay.
If there is two of the same objects, either it's a print or reproduction, but there's a problem somewhere. Don't produce what we sell. Nobody produce but the artists. We are primarily in the secondary market and mostly selling objects of artists or craftsmen and have passed away. And it is what you have in the market is what it is. There won't be more than this. So that creates, of course, a lot of limitation on the supply. And that's, I think, the biggest challenge that we face in our industry is actually to source objects. We might think it's on selling them, it's actually on sourcing them. The luxury industry is a different business model. You have a creative designer, you have different established categories, whether it's jewelry, watches. I argue that some of them are very rare, like diamonds or certain handbags from certain brands, but at the end of the day, you can always train more craftsmen to do more of these handbags, and it's more about managing the rarity and the supply than it is of intrinsically having a limited supply.
So how has your role changed? I mean, do you think your role has differed from the last segment of the luxury industry that you worked
in? So my leadership role has changed quite substantially between my previous roles when I was managing primarily retail networks, whether it was with Richemont or with Swarovski, no matter how big or small they were. All these roles are very similar. They were similar whether I was looking at retailing in South Korea or in Taiwan or in Japan. It was always pretty much the same equation. My role today is to make sure that we have the teams to serve our clients, so these collectors, to cover specialists who are experts in the individual field. And my job is all about managing knowledge.
Right. So did you have to kind of go deeper into the art side or study?
So I have to at least make sure I have a conversation which is informed. I'm not an art specialist. I am interested in art. I've always been. I'm not an art historian, but I'm basically here to help the business grow and develop and make sure we serve our clients the best we can. And part of serving these clients means that we need to have the best teams on the ground with the best expertise and the best client service.
With internet and the virtual medium coming in has changing the way the entire business is being transacted in economy. How do you think is Christie's role going to evolve?
So we have. I wouldn't say we are the industry which is the most at the forefront of the digital transformation. I think we are fundamentally anchored in the past with the objects that we sell. But within that space, Christie's is today one of, if not the most advanced player in that world. One, because of our size. So we are market leader in as in the art, we are the largest transactor in the world, so we have a duty to be part and to initiate that change in the digital space, but the numbers also show it. So not only the functionalities that we've developed and what we've put in place, but also the numbers. We are the largest transactor in the digital space. So now what we do, at the end of the day, there's a balance which is always interesting for us to maintain, because art is about sensations.
Right.
It's about the emotions that you have when you encounter the object.
Yes.
So there's a certain part of our business model that we can digitalize, and where we can leverage all the opportunities that digital tools offer. May it be on the transaction side, where you can actually bid into our auctions through the internet,
Right.
may it be through informing our clients with our electronic catalogs or the essays and the videos. So all these are new tools, of course, that in the past 20 years have surfaced to help us in different stage of that relationship with our collectors. But at the end of the day, the emotion that you have when you are together with the object is
Right.
very hard to replace.
So the physical auction is there to stay.
The physical auction is here to stay.
From Christie's point of view, how has Hong Kong been as a base for them, for carrying out the business in Asia? Now that you have been in art and luxury industry in Asia for so long, do you see Hong Kong having a potential to be the leader in the space of Asian art?
So Hong Kong has been for 15 years, 20 years, an extremely important, Asia has been an extremely important pillar of our growth, not only for Asian art, so Chinese paintings, Chinese works of art, ceramics, lacquer, but also for Western art, so Western Impressionist and Modern, Western post-war and contemporary are categories where Asian buyers are very established collectors. So Asian buyers and Asia have been completely centered to Christie's strategy. We've been investing in the region for many years, and it is already out of Hong Kong,
Okay.
A real pillar.
Okay.
In addition to London and New York, it is a real pillar for our company.
I see. So how would you advise a young person looking to build their career in luxury and art industry?
So I would advise them to do exactly what I have never been able to do, which is be frontline.
Okay.
Be as frontline as you can in your beginning, be down to earth. But I think it's really important to understand who buys, what they buy, why they buy, how they buy. And you cannot learn this out of an office. Go into a store, work in the shop, become a store manager. Even if it's just for a year or 2 or 3 in your professional career, you will get fantastic insights into who the clients are, because at the end of the day, it's the clients that we're serving. To be truly well-serving clients and be a striving business person, you need to understand why people are looking for these objects, why the people are,
That's
and how
very
they're
good
buying
insight.
them. And I've never been, I started working in retail, I was already a general manager of a small team when I was in Japan. And I've always tried to actually work in stores. And I remember one day when I was at 𝐍𝐴 where I went to be posted in our Singapore store for 2 days. And of course I needed to have like 3 people around me because I could not operate the cash register, I could not pack a gift, and I didn't know where to find stuff in the stockroom. And then I realized that working in a store and serving clients and answering the questions that they have on, how to take care of the jewelry and so on are actually not easy ones.
Yeah, they're an intrinsic part of the business.
And clients are demanding. They want to be served well, and
Yes.
I think any experience that you have directly with the clients, I think, is a lifelong reflection and I think insights for any career.
That's a very valuable advice for the young people. So Francis, what's next for you? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
I don't know. I don't know. We're very happy in Hong Kong, very happy in Asia. My wife is an entrepreneur. She might even have been on your show.
Yes.
If not yet, soon.
Yes, of course you are. You're a power couple.
I'm a power couple, but she's the most powerful half of the power couple. And we're very happy here.
Okay.
It's our life. The only thing is our parents are in Europe. So my wife is German. My parents are in France. So we need to be able to keep that close relationship with our respective families. But that's the only thing that actually reconnects us I mean, pulls us back into Europe,
Right.
but there's no plan whatsoever to go anywhere else. Kids are happy. We're all very happy to be here.
So are you ready for a rapid fire question now?
Yes, I am.
That's getting to know Francis' Hong Kong story in a bit more fun way. So Francis, I know that
Yeah.
you have a great wine cellar at your place. Tell me a little bit about that hobby of yours, and also which is your most favorite wine?
I love wine.
Okay.
I love food, but I specifically love wine,
Okay.
and I'm very picky on healthy eating, healthy and fitness and so on. But there's one thing I can really not let go is enjoy a glass of wine almost every day. My favorite wines are increasingly the hidden ones.
Okay.
And I have a very simple advice to give to your audience: is go to expensive restaurants. Look at the wine lists. The sommelier has done his homework. There's a reason why 80–90% are very well-known names. And of course they are expensive. But you will find always 10–15% of that wine list which is expensive and that you've never heard about.
Okay.
These are the ones you should explore.
Okay.
So I always go to a restaurant and I pick the most expensive wine I've never heard about.
I see. Okay.
And I'm never disappointed, and it's never really expensive. The other trick that I have is I tell the sommelier, pick something that will really surprise me. If it's too expensive, I won't pay. If it's not good, I won't drink.
Whoa, you're a tough client. Okay, amongst all the artwork that you must have bought, which one of it has been your favorite?
So I bought some sketches of 𝐍𝐤, a Chinese artist that lived in Paris, and I have them in my home, and I enjoy looking at them multiple times in the day, and they always catch my sight when I just go through my place. They are just, that's what defines living with art. It's not just having random objects in your home, it's having objects that actually are not just part of yourself, but they catch your eye when you browse randomly through your place. And these 𝐍𝐤 sketches are some of these objects that actually catch my sight.
Okay. Your favorite casual and formal dining place in Hong Kong?
So my favorite, that's a tricky one if I answer like this, but my favorite casual would be the curry in the lobby of the Mandarin Oriental.
Okay.
Formal, I'd say Mono. It's a new restaurant that opened on Land Street, inspired of a lot of different cuisines, and I find they've done a really good job. And they opened during the challenging time, second half of 2019 in Hong Kong, 2020. So they opened during the second half of 2020 in Hong Kong. But I think they've been striving.
And your favorite solitary activity in Hong Kong?
Drinking wine, but I'm not supposed to say that. Solitary activity, I would say probably go running and hiking. Solitaire when I exercise.
Okay.
It's a time for me not just to exercise, but also to reflect. And I absolutely love going for my run in the Tai Tam Park, which is close to my home.
Okay. And 3 words that describes your Hong Kong life?
I would say exciting, fulfilling, and happy.
As a Hong Konger, what are you most proud about Hong Kong?
I think the city has, for so many decades, has been absolutely incredible in reinventing itself. It's a city that is resilient. It's a city that had nothing to succeed. It's a big rock, and yet it's one of the most successful cities in Asia. There's nothing, no raw material. There's not even landmass we can easily build on. Yet look at what has this city become. So I think it really speaks for how fantastic Hong Kong people have been, and the different expats that live here, to transform Hong Kong into being such a successful hub. And I think there's so many things that make Hong Kong an attractive place for investors, for professionals, for families. The rule of law, the convertibility of the Hong Kong dollar, the stability that you have in general, whatever we think, whatever the last few months of headlines might have suggested. And I think fundamentally the level of resilience and hard work that as a professional I have seen in Hong Kong, for me, is really what makes Hong Kong stand out.
What would you advise the global business leaders around the world? Why should they engage with Hong Kong?
For all these good reasons. You know, if you want to find talented, hardworking individuals, you can come here. If you want to find an environment where business is welcome and it's a very business-savvy place for multiple reasons, whether it's regulations, tax, the financial system, it's a place where companies should definitely come.
And how would you pitch Hong Kong to your friends and family in Europe or elsewhere to come and visit you?
So you have more green in Hong Kong, and anyone can check on Google Map. With satellite view, you have more green in Hong Kong than anything else.
And not many people know about that.
And not many people know about that. You know, the image is all these, skinny high-rise buildings and feels like a very overwhelming, noisy city. It is not. It is not. And 12-minute drive from Central, you can be in the complete nature. You can go on a hike with your kids 20 minutes away from your home and see waterfalls. And just even forget you're in a city, you're in a natural park. And there's very few cities in the world with that kind of economic development and all the professional opportunities that Hong Kong offers that can also offer that from a lifestyle point of view. So I think this is absolutely unique.
Well, thank you so much, Francis, for being with us on the show.
Thank you, Jaya.
And we wish you all the best in all your future endeavors.
Thank you very much.
Stay tuned for our next episode on dreams, passion, and your Hong Kong story, where we bring you yet another fascinating story from this wonderful land, Hong Kong. If you have any comments, feedback, or if you want to share your Hong Kong story with us, feel free to write to us at www.jskmediaglobal.com.